And if you think about it, it holds a lot in one song, a few minutes. It holds a lot of hope and goodness, thoughts beyond. And it holds anxiety and frustration. So it's really a message for all of us, because we all have feelings like that. And so it touches each one of us in a different space, in a different place. Kirk's been bugging me to do The Wizard of Oz for some time. He wants to play the music and loves the story. But is there anyone here who doesn't love the story of The Wizard of Oz? I mean, we watched it again last night, and what I know is, stories are so important because they meet you where you are. And I saw the movie in a whole different light, even though I've seen it many, 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 many times, because of what you're looking for and where you are. And it was so hopeful and compassionate and good, and I loved it. And that's what stories do for us. They inspire us, they teach us, and they also remind us how so connected we are, that we're more alike than we are different. And they're beautiful stories. And this story, The Wizard of Oz, is about a young girl named Dorothy. She is the protagonist, the hero of the story. And she's all of us. She's all of us. But she's kind of an enlightened version of all of us. Because if you remember at the beginning of the story, Dorothy's an orphan, and she's living on a farm with her Auntie Em and her Uncle Henry. And she feels unappreciated, lonely, and isolated because there's no one there her age to play with. And she's alone. And she's sad, and she doesn't know what to do. But she doesn't get defeated. She goes out into the barnyard and starts singing a song because she can look beyond herself. She can see something bigger, something greater. She has a vision that she's following. Because this story, like all of our heroes' journey stories, the returning home stories, are really about finding ourselves in bigger and grander ways. We have to have something on the journey, as Dorothy does, which hurls us out of our comfort zone. Dorothy had a few things. Number one, Miss Gulch. She was an awful neighbor. Ew. And she wanted to take Dorothy's one real friend away, Toto. And it happens, but Toto's smarter than Miss Gulch, so it worked out. But it really inspired Dorothy to go out on her own because she did not want to lose her little dog. And then, of course, there was the tornado that banged her in the head and absolutely threw her into a totally different place. And so she rose above those situations. She got knocked out of her comfort zone so she could really find herself. And the yellow brick road, which I'm representing today, is really a symbol of following the path of divine guidance. You mentioned today, Sage, so beautiful. And following the path of illumination, our inner wisdom and our intuition to find something more. Of course, we have to recognize that just because we're following the yellow brick road, or just because we're following that, doesn't mean we aren't going to have obstacles and hurdles, because we grow through both the trials and the triumphs, the pains and the sorrows, the goodness and the sadness in our life. We grow from it all. Every one of us has had those moments when we're hurled out of our comfort zone, and we have to start thinking a different way. It's true for all of us. And the one thing that Dorothy never got was victimized. She didn't get victimized and blame everybody else for her situation. She said, you know what? I'm going to take off and do something for myself. And of course, Spirit was there guiding her through the charlatan, Professor Marvel, to find out, no, you better go back home. Her compassion was broken open because she realized how much she was hurting Annie M. Well, in our spiritual growth, there are stages of our evolution. We don't just all of a sudden become enlightened and awake. It's a long, long journey and process. But on the first page of our Science of Mind textbook, Ernest Holmes says, we are on a journey of self-discovery. You and I are filled with the greatness of the universe. We are filled with the goodness of God. It's there. It's there, but it has to be discovered within. So this journey in these stages is, if Dorothy had turned her finger and blamed everybody else for her problem, that would be the very beginning stage of evolution. That's where we look outside and blame the external world. And if we feel it's happening, life is happening to us. We're not empowered at all yet. But she didn't feel that way. The next thing on this stage of evolution is when we realize, oh my gosh, my words, my thoughts, my actions have power. I can create things. I can manifest. We can do things. That's the beginning stage where we start realizing, oh, I do have some power. And then we go to the place of surrender. And Dorothy had to do that on this journey too. She realized she had the power to start and listen to Glinda the Good Witch, who told her to start right where you are. That's the best place, and follow the yellow brick road. And then she realized, oh, she could surrender because she was guided. She had something more that was happening for her. And then, arriving home, our journey, we're all headed the same place. There's nobody going to a different place, but we're going at different speeds and different paths and different ways. We're heading to that place we call home. And that's the last level of absolutely spiritual awakening, evolution, transformation, where we're unity with the whole. We're not individualized because we bring our own uniqueness there, but when we realize that we are all one in this journey. So there's that greatness, that hero that's inside of each one of us that wants to be expressed, that wants to be honored, and we need to discover that for ourselves. And that's our job, how we're going to do that. T.S. Eliot, who was one of my favorite contemporary poets in college, says, we will not ever cease from exploration. And the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started and know it for the very first time. Because what changes in us is the way we look at things, our perception about life and people and situations. We can't let our circumstances define us. That's what our whole journey of self-discovery is about, that we have power to handle things, to see things differently, to do things in different ways. We can't necessarily change what's out there right away, but we can certainly change what's inside of us. I believe this journey that Dorothy is showing us, sharing with us, she moves from Kansas, which is our material world, into Oz, which is the spiritual transformation which changes her. So she's the bridge between humanity and divinity. And we talk about that so often as being, what we're here to do, to be the bridge, the vessel that can keep our mind, our heart, and spirit, and fully present, fully grounded and present in our life right here. What I noticed about the story is, all of the Dorothy, the Tin Man, the Scarecrow, the Lion, they're all having challenges. They're all having self-doubt. They don't know what's going on. They need something in their life. If I only had it. But they also have a positive attitude. What we could call that is above the line thinking. They're thinking about possibilities, and they're thinking about each other. They care for each other, compassion, possibilities. That's where their mind is. The below the line thinking that'll keep us stuck, that we don't get on that yellow brick road, that we'll get, all sorts of bad stuff. But anyway, that below the line thinking, which we all touch sometimes, every one of us, I guarantee you, we all go down there sometimes, where we doubt, we feel victimized, we question, we don't know, we blame, we have the finger pointing. We'll do that. But if we can keep the above the line thinking, if you think about them, when they were traveling down the yellow brick road, arm in arm, it is, follow the yellow brick road. What were they doing? They were skipping, they were dancing because they were hopeful and positive, and they knew not only did they feel they had that divine guidance, but they knew inside of them that there was something pulling them, a vision, something more pulling them to, at the time they thought it was the wizard, but it was the wisdom within. It reminded me watching a show that little Naya, she'll be 3 in May, but she hasn't watched much television in those few years she has. But now her moms have given us the permission to let her watch one show. And it's called Tumbleleaf. and it's a claymation show. And they're like 20-some minute segments. But they live on this island called Tumbleleaf, an imaginary island. And they live there, and Fig, who's a fox, he's the main character. And he's got a really positive attitude. But he always finds a problem. And he says, let's see how we'll fix this. And that's his motto. And so the other day we were watching Naya, and she had this little pillowcase. And she was trying to fit inside of it, and she was getting very, very frustrated. And all, 2-year-olds, that's what starts immediately when she can't figure it out. And I looked at her, I said, well, Naya, what would Fig do? How would he fix this? And she got her out of there, and she went in and she got her doll, and she put her doll in the pillowcase. That's how easy it is. All we have to say is, let's see how we'll fix this. And we can make it better. I mean, if we would watch some of these kids' shows, it's why stories are so important. They give it to us straight and simple, and we can do it. Sometimes solutions get all jumbled up and whatever, and we get confused. But we could do that. We could actually be there and just let's see how we can fix this. That's my new motto. Especially when you have visual with it. It was so cute. It's just adorable. What I think the main message of The Wizard of Oz, and we're going to have this up until the end of March, so it'll be the next 4 Sundays. Personal accountability. When I talked about respect, we need to keep ourselves in alignment. We've got to start complaining about somebody else not being that way. We need to be the model and the one who's treating ourselves with respect first, and then other people. We have to make sure we do it right. We love each other. I don't know about anybody else, but I feel the veil is very thin right now, and messages keep popping into me in these crazy ways, sometimes to adjust me and sometimes to expand me, but they're doing that. I have this on a little sheet of paper because I don't know, sometimes I like white noise in the background. I might keep the TV on or the computer or have Alexa say something, I don't know. But I'll keep something on, and something stopped me in my tracks, probably hurled me out of my comfort zone. And this came out, I don't know who was saying it, I don't know where it came from, but I wrote it down on a piece of paper I had on the table. It says, we are the sum of our choices. I agree. Right now, we're the sum of our choices. Right here, this moment, we are. You can blame anybody else, but it's not going to work. It's our choices that brought us here. Choosing compassion is what will save humanity. That's simple. On a little piece of paper, and it came from somebody I don't even know, speaking right to me. It was beautiful. So I'm going to keep that little piece of paper. I thought, should I type that up? Nah, I like the way I just scribbled it on a piece of paper. I like that. So personal accountability, that's what Fig was doing. He didn't create the problem. He just didn't know how to figure out the problem. But he said, let's figure out how to fix this, how to solve this, what to do with it. He took personal responsibility. Dorothy took personal responsibility. Everybody in The Wizard of Oz, even the wizard who ended up being a little fake and was a little phony, but he figured it out and wanted to do the best too. And it's all for us. Am I being personally responsible for my life? How I'm stepping up and showing up? When I say this journey of spiritual evolution, the stages, is finally we arrive at the place where we can say, let God be God as me. That's unity consciousness. How can I be the most compassionate, loving, caring, and wise today that I can be? That's the end. That's where we can end up, where we live that in that place and that consciousness. So here's what happens to Dorothy. She ends up going home. That's what she wanted. That was her vision, to go home. She didn't know where that was. But she thought in the beginning that somebody outside of her was going to fix that. She thought the wizard was going to actually show her how to get home. But he didn't. She had the answer within her, her little red slippers, all the time. And that's the lesson for us Again, we can't let the circumstances that are falling around us be how we define ourselves. We're much bigger and better and more beautiful and more precious than that. We have to find a way to think better and do better. Glenda said, as I told you, it's always best to start at the beginning. Always best to start at the beginning and take the yellow brick road. So I want to take a minute right now. I want you, if you feel comfortable, just close your eyes. As I always ask, if you have your feet on the floor, so we feel totally grounded in this moment. Because this moment really for each and every one of us is all there is. Right here, right now, in this very moment is the moment we have the most connection to spirit, to ourselves, to our journey, our path, our vision, whatever it is. So your feet are on the ground. We're not wound up, closed off. We're just open and available. Surrender to your chair. Feel supported and loved. Because the truth is that right in this moment is all the love we could ever have. It's right here. It's all the possibility right in this moment available to each and every one of us. There isn't something more out there for us. The wisdom, the knowledge, the intelligence, the courage is right here in this moment. It's available to every person. We've made choices, of course, that have led us to this moment. But every choice we've made, we can unchoose. We can do better right now in this moment. This moment is not about guilt or regret or feeling bad for ourselves or wishing, if I only had, if I only did, if I only was. No, that's not it. This moment is about knowing right here, we have every single thing we need. It's right here in this moment, at this time, for us. And so as we accept that and know that, feel just the melting away of any regret, any doubt, the fear. Hafez, our little 14th century mystic, said, "Fear is the cheapest room in the house. I would like you to live in better conditions." That's for us to know right now, that our total journey right here in this moment is the journey within, to find the preciousness, the goodness, the greatness, the wisdom, the love that we have. There's nothing we need to get, maybe let go of. We just need to reveal what we already are. The truth I know is right now is a blessed moment for each and every one of us. We can take this time and choose to step forward, to step on that yellow brick road, to take that journey, which is guiding us right here and right now, to an enlightened view of who we are, why we're here, what we can do, and how close we are together. It's not necessarily what we have, but who we're with that will help guide us to our next best self. Take this moment in deep gratitude to say thank you before you put on those beautiful red shoes and go dancing down the yellow brick road. So let's just take this moment, take a nice deep breath, come back here with a new vision, a new enlightenment, and know together we're going to feel the surrender of letting go, to let God be God as us, to trust that path of enlightenment and intuition, and we have everything we need to handle what comes to us, and we get to ease on down that road together.